Hi guys, Andrew from CRUISEMASTER. You might have caught our last video where I gave you some thoughts on the Landcruiser 300 and how it tows on the blacktop. Now we're just here at Bribie Island. We've got a tandem axle JB caravan hooked up to the 300 and we're about to go and see what it's like on the beach. Now I haven't towed something so big through the inland tracks at Bribie Island, so I'm hoping I'm not going to get bogged. So we better drop the tyre pressures and then we can hit the tracks. Right, we've got our first soft bit of sand here, and I've got it on sand mode. I've turned everything off I can find, set the diff lock on, and it goes and then it'll restrict throttle, which is not what I'm after. We'll turn that off, turn sand mode off. Let's see if it'll just let me do what I want. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Chugging. There's some quite soft spots here. Part of the thing which holds us up here is the suspension's so soft it's just bumping all the way through and hitting the bump stops. It's quite hard to maintain some pace. There we go, we're through that bit. Soft spot, and it's working quite hard. We've got it in sand mode, center diff lock in, vehicle stability control is off. It does keep cutting power when you're trying to demand more throttle to maintain momentum, which is really annoying. So I have to see whether I can do something about that. But as you can probably see, it's comfortable, but we're getting bounced around quite a bit with the pitch of the wedge of the ball on the back of the car. It means you can't carry too much pace into stuff. It's just bumping straight through the suspension travel. So once again, I'd really consider putting a suspension upgrade in if you're planning on doing anything than dropping the kids off at school. So we've done a few more of the tracks now through the inland track at Bribie Island, and so far so good. It actually pulls the weight of the van really well. I have found I've now tried low range and I'm manually selecting the gears, which seems to have overcome most of the throttle drop that I was getting previously in high range, where I was demanding more throttle and it was backing off. So that does seem to have improved it. There's lots of little corrugations on this road as well on the higher speed bits, and the front soaks it up, you don't really feel them. The back comes through a bit harsher. Maybe due to the fact we've got airbags in the back of it, and just before we hit the sand, I put about 25 psi into them to try to resist the bottoming out that I was getting before due to the ball weight of the caravan. I'm glad I did, because it has settled it down a bit but it probably is coming through a little bit harsher on these corrugations. Not too bad, just a bit of a difference. So we've just stopped to put the cameras out to do the drive onto the beach here, and turned the car off and turned it back on again. And the multi-terrain select, which is a feature I think in the higher level models, which allows you to just select mud and rut and sand mode and snow mode and all that type of stuff. It is actually turned off, so you've got to watch that and turn it back on. Everything else looks like it stayed off though, so that's good. All right, onto the beach we go. There we go. That wasn't too much of a problem at all. Probably helps that we're going downhill, but no problem at all. Okay, we're just driving along the beach now. We are about 3 hours from high tide, so there isn't a whole lot of beach. It's kind of hard packed, so we're just running the edge of the water at the moment. The vehicle feels nice and stable, even though we're kind of dipping in and out of wheel tracks from other vehicles. And actually what surprised me the most is the caravan is full width. This isn't a narrow caravan designed for doing narrow tracks where the vehicle wheel track is the same as the car, and it hasn't really impacted it. Like, you obviously feel that there's 3 tons behind you, but it's not making as big a difference as I was expecting. I'm getting a bit of sway up there in the little ruts. But it seems to be pulling pretty well. And on the highway video, I was talking about the trans cowl in the vehicle and how it doesn't slip when you start getting the vehicle moving as much as the 200 did, and that's very noticeable on the sand. So even though I'm being very cautious of when I stop the vehicle, I'm stopping it on harder sand, not in the soft stuff. You can just put your foot down and get going, as opposed to waiting for the torque converter to come in and then the power coming on. So it's much more predictable what it's going to do. I think that's the biggest change that I've found. I wasn't sure how the whole setup was going to go, given the weight and the size of this caravan. And so far, so good. A bit of axle tramp there from that soft sand. But yeah, good so far. New update, I have to slow down. I just had a warning come up on the dash: transmission oil temp high, stop in a safe place and see the owner's manual. So I've only been doing a few kilometers of this, probably not even a kilometer now though, of this soft sand. So I'm obviously working it a bit hard, so I might just give it a quick break and then get going again. Alright, so I did have to stop then. I was trying to give it a quick minute to cool off, and then almost got stuck. But we did a bit of backwards and forwards there and managed to get it out without any external assistance. So quite nice. You can you can control that application of throttle to get the wheel speed right. In this, you just creep up on it to make sure you're just turning, we're just moving the car, as opposed to getting everything at once. So it's certainly, I can see the difference in sand versus the 200. It's definitely a completely different beast. The 300's definitely got it on the 200 there. All right, we just stopped off for a couple of minutes to film some other stuff, and then we're going to start in the soft sand and try to get it out. So let's see how that goes. Okay, it didn't move at all. Let's try something else. Okay, so the weight of the caravan is going to prevent us moving forward, so we're just going to chuck some match tracks in, and that should pop us out. Okay, so as it happens, I got it properly stuck. All right, ready when you are. Yep. So here we go, going for a snatch. Yep, go, go, go. Keep going. You're stopped. All right, so that concludes our day of tow testing with the Landcruiser 300. On the beach, it's a big difference to the Landcruiser 200. Definitely that transmission calibration, new trans in it, as well as the engine is a big improvement in that throttle response. We did have a couple of issues where the transmission did get hot a couple of times and it came up on the dash and warned us. That is something that you probably need to be cautious of. When we get back, I'll probably have a look to see whether there are any additional transmission coolers out there that might help that situation. If it was my vehicle, I'd probably be investing in a bigger set of tyres, get a bit more ground clearance, as well as a suspension upgrade and potentially a GVM kit. Again, for ground clearance, but also to be able to control the mass, particularly when you're towing. I think it'd make a huge difference. And if you're interested in seeing any more of our tow tests or vehicle reviews, make sure you get onto YouTube, Facebook and Instagram to make sure you don't miss out.